Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Today I met up with John and Courtney and they have a really cool transit camper van. They're going to give us a tour today, so join us. Hello, John and Courtney. Welcome to New Jersey Outdoor Adventures.
Thanks. I'm Courtney.
I'm
my
John.
husband John. And this is Dolly. She is a 2010 Ford Transit Connect. We've converted her into a camper van. We like to call her Dolly because she's petite, she's top heavy, well endowed, and she loves to go on tour.
So we can start right here. We got an awning up top. Nice when it's in the rain, like today. Yeah. Also, you can use it as a sunshade too, for if you're in a campsite or whatever that's more open. On these vans, there's two sliding doors that we call it his and hers. They're pretty much exactly the same. Okay. So on each side, there's your clothing storage, two decently sized drawers. They all have locks. We found that actually on our first trip the hard way when everything was rocking and rolling around. That'll keep the drawers locked up when you are driving. They have an electrical setup here. There is 3 switches. There's a USB and a 12 volt, so you can charge your devices and run other things. These switches run mainly the lights. So this first one does our exterior light out here. This middle one does the little drawer light right here, so that when you're going through your drawers at night, you can see what you're doing. And this third one actually turns on the stereo. All of these runs, including the stereo, run off the auxiliary battery. And so you're not draining the car battery while you're doing all these things. The battery setup is in here. As you can see, we have an AGM 12 volt deep cycle battery. We have a small fuse block here that runs to the different components around the van. There is a battery isolator which senses the voltage, and when the car is running, it will charge the battery off the alternator just like the car battery, and when the car is off, it will disconnect the two so you're not draining your car battery as well. You can see the large fuses and the on-off switch down below. Up front, there's 2 boxes. This one on this side is a little bit of a tool storage and some other odds and ends in there as well. Down below, we have a shoe storage, and you can store some other things as well, but it goes all the way through. In between the 2 boxes on the front here, we have what we call the cockpit. There's another USB charger here for your devices. There's a voltage meter on that one as well, so you can keep track of the batteries, and some compartments to store your stuff. The cockpit area is a standard setup, just like a regular car. Pretty comfortable. Great stereo with the satellite stereo for good sound system. And these vans do have a little bit of an overhead bin up top for a little extra storage as well. Each side has a set of curtains. You can see they're tied up now. Usually when you open, you want them when you're driving around. You can see them on the other side as well, so you get some privacy while you're sleeping.
Usually 2 people are best to put down the bed. The bed is stowed when the vehicle is being driven, and then once you're in camp, you can lay it out flat. So we'll give you a little tour how we do that. So you can see we have some reading lights, so when you're in bed in camp, you can turn those on and enjoy relaxing. Also, when we designed the camper, we wanted to make sure that John, who is 6 feet tall, can actually lay out flat. The bed itself is just like a queen, except it's a bit more narrow. So it's 80 inches long and 48 inches wide.
All right, this is the other side of the van, and as we said, it's very similar to where we just came from, except for this side, instead of the awning, we got the storage box up top, and we store all our camp gear in there. We have camp chairs, we have screened awning to protect you from the sun, insects, rain. It's lockable, and there, you know, hatchets, extension cords, some other random camping gear up there, and some extra space as well. All right, this side, as we said, is set up the exact same. It's got your drawers, just like before. Your lights, your setup. This one doesn't turn on the stereo, but everything else is the same. This side here is a converter charger. Runs off a standard 15 or 20 amp plug-in with an extension cord, and that will run the whole system of the van and charge the batteries at the same time. Again, the cubby down here, you can store your shoes, firewood, whatever you'd like. The reason we chose this style and size of van is because, as you can see, this is a regular parking spot and it's not, flowing out of the parking spot. It's the size of a small car. They're very easy to drive. It gets good gas mileage, 27, 28 miles to the gallon. And from the feedback we've gotten, everyone is pretty comfortable driving it. And there's nothing overly intimidating about it. It's not overly large. The back of the van is the kitchen area. It's got double opening doors. These are actually real nice. They open all the way up, both sides. This side here has another little side table set up with the right angle supports, and they have releases too to fold back down. While we're back here, we can take a look at some of the other features of the inside. Each side has a little cub area too. You can store some stuff while you're in bed. We have a Max fan exhaust fan that has the 10 speeds. It can exhaust in and out. It has the manual open cover. And the good thing about these is this manual cover, or this cover here, is actually allows you to open and run in the rain because it covers over the top. Again, each side has a little cubby. You can store some stuff in there, books, clothes, water bottle while you're in bed. We included a couple magnets around the van so you can have some extra space to hang some stuff up because you can never have enough storage while you're camping. In the kitchen setup back here, there's 3 drawers. Again, they have locks like the other drawers so you can keep them from moving while you're driving around. This one's our main kitchen setup. It's got a work surface on top. It's got 2 drawers. We've got a big drawer with all your cook gear. We have a smaller drawer with your cutlery and some other stuff as well. Down below, this side we keep a wash bin so you can do your dishes. This side has your Coleman stove. Just a regular 2-burner stove. Runs off the standard 1-pound propane tanks. Alright, the middle drawer is what we call the pantry. It's got 2 bottles of water storage here, each are 2 gallons, so you got a total of 4. And then you have a big storage bin for all your extra food and items as well. And then our third drawer here, we got our cleaning supplies up front, and then we have a 12-volt fridge. No worrying about ice. And it's got adjustable temperatures and enough space in there to store your food. Alright, over here we have another power setup. It's got a voltage meter so you can keep track of the battery. Another 12-volt plug and some USBs for your accessories. And it's got another switch for another light out back so you can see what you're doing at night.
Thank you very much for taking the time today to give us a tour of your beautiful Transit Connect camper van. You have a carpenter background, and I know in building everything's level and square. What are some of the challenges you had doing a van that's not necessarily level and square?
Well, yeah, as you said, there's angles and corners and radiuses to deal with. Luckily for us, we started with the center box that was basically square and built off of that. But you kind of learn as you go, learn how to template things, and we've learned a lot along the way. Also associated with the build would be the weight. So we're working on other ones now. We've working on lowering the weight of the boxes in the build to decrease that.
So that's something very important. A vehicle has a specific payload, and that's what can go inside the vehicle, and you don't want to exceed the payload, which would be the dry weight versus the gross vehicle weight rating. So you got to be mindful when you're doing these builds that you have to allow for that weight variance plus the passengers and the stuff they're going to put inside of it.
Exactly, yeah, and you don't want to come too high. It's going to ride worse. It's going to get worse gas mileage. It's not going to be as enjoyable a van to drive around.
Can you walk us through the rental process? Because this is something new. You're first couple that actually rents their van out that I featured on the channel. So it might be new for some of our viewers who are not familiar with that process.
Yeah, we started out in the hospitality business. We work with short-term rentals in our home. So it was something that came a bit more naturally to us. The share community is things like Airbnb, Vrbo, and the share community around camper vans and RVs started more or less out on the West Coast. So it's really easy to find rentals out on the West Coast. So John and I really wanted to be able to participate in that community here in New Jersey. And we found that OUTDOORSY.com is one of the largest RV rental sites that's available right now. So we have Dolly on OUTDOORSY.com, and then our 2 new vehicles will be available this spring and summer, and that's Betty and Ellie. And we're in the final process of completing those builds right now. And it's not for everyone. Renting your vehicle, renting your baby, it's a big investment to own and operate an RV. So to hand it off to someone who could be a stranger, who's maybe never even driven an RV, let alone camped for a period of time, can be nerve-wracking. So it is a process. It takes a bit of time to get to know the people who are interested in renting. There's a price point associated with it. There's insurance concerns. So there is a lot of administrative stuff that we deal with on a constant basis. But we find it to be really successful. We really enjoy doing it, and we'll continue to do it. And we encourage other people to at least consider it if you have a van or a vehicle sitting in your driveway.
Now, you mentioned earlier you have it online for rent, but you have a website too?
Right.
Is that how people could find you?
Yep. So our hospitality business is Content and Company. We're available at our website at contentandcompany.info. We also share our journey of renovating the home that we rent out, as well as our camper vans. We blog about that at contentandcompany.info, and also on Instagram at Content and Company. So you can definitely check us out there as well.
Well, thank you for giving us that information. That's all new stuff for this channel, and I can't wait to feature your next 2 builds.
Yeah, we're really excited.
So that's going to be helpful. I guess if you're going to rent these out, you got to give them a walkthrough, just kind of like you did with us, and maybe a little bit more in detail, because they got to know how to use some of this stuff, right?
Yeah, the key exchange process, aside from the actual rental process that's online that Outdoorsy handles, so they handle all of the payment, the insurance, they verify the drivers on their side. But when we actually meet with guests that are renting the vehicle, it's about a 45-minute process where we do the same exact tour that we gave you today and really give our guests an in-depth understanding of how to operate Dolly or Betty or Ellie before they actually take off on the road.
So I guess the key would be to keep it simple. Keep it simple in the build. You don't want too many complex systems that's going to take hours to show them how to work. And I know from being in the RV business, when you're given a walkthrough, the people are anxious and ready to get out there and enjoy. Right. They're on vacation as soon as they leave their house, and they want to pick this thing up and go.
It's true.
So grabbing their attention for that period of time to teach them this stuff, keep it as simple as possible. That would be what I think, based on your build. It's very easy to use, very well thought out, and the materials are pretty robust too, because they're going to take some abuse, because they might not love it the same way that you do.
It's true. The functionality, I mean, all of the things that we've done with the vans have been very strategic. Durability was really important. We wanted them to be able to last. But in the event that we are working with a little bit of an older vehicle, so Dolly's a 2010, our new builds are 2012. In the event that those vehicles are not working or need maintenance, in the long run, we would be able to take out the contents of the vehicle and transfer them to another vehicle.
That's a great concept.
Which is a long-term investment for us. So it's not just this particular build. We could apply it to the same type of vehicle going forward.
That's excellent. Thank you for sharing all that information. And I guess one other thing, looking at Outdoorsy and RV Share, I think the vehicle has to be less than 15 years old to qualify for their insurance. I read into that.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So if you're going to be building one, that's definitely something to think about, because then people won't be able to get their own insurance for it.
Right, and it's interesting also. So we have commercial insurance to be able to provide that safely for our renters. And people, if you are looking into that, you should definitely look into, it's not on your personal insurance. A lot of personal insurance for vehicles will not allow you to do rentals, so that's a little bit of homework that you might have to do on your side as well.
Well, thank you for taking the time today to meet up with us to give us a tour, despite the rain.
Yes.
We're in my van now, and we have a little bit more room in here
With
to
camping,
do the...
you never know what the
Yeah.
weather's
You
gonna
never
be
know.
like.
Just expect rain. If it's nice out, just go. Well, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, comment, share, and subscribe. I love it, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.